So I'm here to talk about what many were speculating. Um, I was browsing the internet and I happened to come up on a article. It was in actually Yahoo Sports that Mr. Shedeur Sanders was colluded against, and that this came from the owners that did the collusion on Sanders, where they told their teams, respective teams, do not pick him, do not draft him, because we want to make an example out of him. And this was said by Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson on the Roggin and Rodney show, a radio station out in Los Angeles. So let's hear what he had to say.
And I'll tell you this much here: what I heard from someone that's in the NFL, that the NFL told other, don't draft him, do not draft him. We're gonna make an example out of him. And this came from a very good source, And he said that, I won't say who, somebody called the Cleveland Browns and said, don't do that. Draft
Really?
him. Yep, draft him. Don't do that, because they weren't gonna draft him either. They weren't gonna draft him.
So you heard what my man said, and I'm telling you, if this is true, this is just so sad. And like he said, even the Browns were told not to pick him, and the Browns did it anyway, which doesn't surprise me at all, because the Browns seem to be one of those teams. And I shouldn't say the team. I should say Jimmy Haslam. He's one that goes against the grain, and because he's desperate to be great. He wants that big splash. He tried that with Deshaun Watson, and he even admitted that it didn't work. He struck out on that one. But and again, the Deshaun Watson situation was that he gave Deshaun Watson a fully guaranteed contract, up to $230-something million. And that was the first fully guaranteed contract. And the owners did not like that, not one bit. And so here we are. If this is true, it's my belief that he said, well, they said not to pick Shedeur. We're all the way down to round 5 of the draft. Let's go ahead and pick him. Go ahead. Let's just take a chance. It's just it's the 5th round now. And I mean, it is so sad. And then even with that said, and he's on the Browns, you could say, well, at least the Browns chose him. Yeah, okay. But he's behind the likes of Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett. And especially the Kenny Pickett one. I mean, that's insulting. It really is. Let's be honest. Kenny Pickett is now a journeyman, right? The Steelers didn't want him. The Eagles didn't want him. I mean, I don't know what to say. They, 5th rounder. Yeah, they say, hey, yeah, give us a 5th rounder here. You can have him. That's what the Eagles said. Kenny Pickett is what he is, and he's hurt. He will not be playing in this Saturday's game against the Los Angeles Rams. And he's still QB2. Dylan Gabriel's QB3 and Shedeur is QB4. Of course, Flacco's QB1. I mean, give me a break. Give me a break. And then it's like, all right, well, if Shedeur ends up getting released. Now the question is, all right, well, where would he go? Would anyone choose him? That's what I wonder. Would any, if this is true, okay, once again, I'm saying if this is true, where would he go? Would anyone want to pick him up? Any team? Because they're getting their marching orders. And again, if this is true, what would the NFL's player union do? What would they do? Would I think? Probably nothing. Because let's be honest, the NFL's player union lacks the balls to do anything. They really do. And that's one thing I can say I give the NBA, their players union, a lot of credit. Also, Major League Baseball. Those two unions, they don't take any crap. All right. You know, a lot of people get on those, well, especially the NBA. A lot of folks get on the NBA, that league, because they say that, oh, the players are running the league. Okay. Maybe it could be scaled back a little. But if Shedeur was an NBA player, I'm sure that this wouldn't have been happened. This wouldn't have ever happened. All right. It wouldn't be happening, and it never would have happened because the owners would have said, oh no, we're not going to go through this. All right, we're not going to do that because we know what the ramifications it's going to be dealing with the players union. The NFL, the owners have no such fear. Roger Goodell, you know, he works for the owners. He does what he wants. The NFL feels they can do what they want to do. And at this point they can because the players just don't have the cojones to do anything. And they have all the power. I look at the Browns locker room and I look at Myles Garrett. I'm like, man, this guy is definitely a Hall of Famer when he retires. But he's not a leader. He never was one. You heard about his speeding ticket, right? I don't know how many times he's been caught speeding. I know one time he flipped his car over. But no one's going to say anything about it, you know. You know, they were all over Shedeur's back, and I understand him being a rookie and all. But it's like if you're supposed to be a leader, you shouldn't be doing that. And Myles Garrett does what he does anyway. And I had thought at one point that when he wanted to leave the Browns, he would stick to that, where he wanted to win. No, he took the money knowing that you're not going to win. And I just can't believe that they're not screaming in that locker room saying, okay, well, wait a minute here. I'm not here to play to tank and look towards next year. Let's see what we have in these rookies. And maybe you say, well, the rookies, you know, you're going to, Flacco gives us the best chance to win. Okay, but for how long? How long do we think Flacco's going to last? I don't think he's going to last the whole 17 games. But then if something happens to him, you have Pickett at number 2. Bizarre. But the main focus of this video was to talk about the collusion. I mean, if that's true, it's just so sad. And, you know, you hope things work itself out. And how it will work itself out, I don't have those answers. I mean, the only thing I just don't have those answers on if this is true and what they've done to this kid. I guess on the bright side is that, you know, he has plenty of money. You know, we all know who his dad is. You know, Shedeur made plenty NIL, you know, money from NIL. So at the end of the day, in real life, for real, he'll be okay. But, you know, if you're a competitor, which he is, a person who wants to play, a person who wants to win, this has to hurt if this is true and he found out about it, you know? So that's it. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.